Hi everyone, Luke here from Weekend Tour Pros. You're joining me today at my home golf club of Blackmoor in Hampshire, England. Now, one of the most common questions I get in the comment sections of my videos is what golf clubs do I play? You see me reviewing a lot of golf clubs, you see me reviewing a lot of golf balls. Most of you guys are keen to hear what golf clubs I'm playing. Now, I did film a What's in the Bag video in 2023, but I thought it was about time to update it because there's been a few additions to the bag. There's a couple of clubs that maybe are up for debate and a couple of golf clubs that won't be going anywhere anytime soon. I'll also tell you what golf ball I've decided on. If you watched that recent Wilson ball review, I was undecided which one of those two balls I'll play, and I'll let you know which one I've picked in this video as well. Right, let's head out onto the golf course and start at the bottom of the bag with the putter. So this is the hardest hole on the golf course, stroke index 1. It's a really long, tough par 4. And you're going to see in a minute the shot that I hit with one of my golf clubs to get me to this point, and it's exactly the reason why that golf club is in the bag. But first of all, we're going to talk about my putter. I've got an Odyssey Stroke Lab 10. It's a mallet shaped putter. It's been in my bag now for probably close on to 3 years, and it is the only club in my bag that hasn't been custom fit for me. And as a result, I'm not the best putter. I'm quite a streaky putter. Anytime I have a bad run with the putter, I start to question it, and it's probably why it's the one club that's up for grabs at the moment. A couple of things that I don't like about it is I do find when we get to this time of year, when greens are quite quick and quite firm, I do find that it's quite a heavy putter, and I feel I have to really tickle every single putt that I hit, and I can't be aggressive with any of my putts. So that's something I'm keen to look at with a new putter. Also, like a lot of people, I like shiny new things, and therefore really keen to see how something like a lab putter might help someone like me who maybe isn't naturally the best putter in the world. The only other thing to call out about this putter is it's 36 inches in length, so it is quite long compared to standard putters at about 34, 35. Right, let's see if we can hold a birdie putt for the first time ever on stroke index 1. It's low. It's low. And that right there sums up why this putter is up for grabs. Now, one of the things with Harry Colt golf courses is all of his greens have drop-offs all around them, and I've just missed this to the flag, missed this a little bit left pin high, and it's just kicked all the way over here. It's left me now a really difficult chip shot or pitch shot to get it up there over these slopes and try and hold it on a short-sided position. And this is where I need to improve my short game absolutely significantly over the next couple of years. But if I hit it like that, go in. Oh my God. If I could hit it like that when I was playing a social round or playing a match, I'd be absolutely delighted. Weirdly, playing it on camera, you'd think there'd be a little bit more pressure, but there absolutely wasn't. So that leads me really nicely into my wedges. I've got two specialist wedges, both Titleist Vokey SM9 wedges. I've got a 54 degree in a 10S bounce and a 60 degree, which I've just used in a 10S bounce as well. I've got them both in the brushed steel. The reason I've got that is a bit like with drivers. I don't really like the kind of high gloss finish on drivers and fairway woods because I don't like how the sun shines off of it and reflects off of it in the middle of summer. And I find the same, particularly with the 60 degree wedge in my older versions of them with that finish. It did reflect that. I really didn't like it. So the brushed steel just takes that away from it. And I really am pleased that I made that decision. In terms of why Titleist Vokey wedges, simply because the first time I got custom fit for some wedges, I think was SM7s. At the time, Titleist were really the only manufacturer offering a true dedicated wedge fitting for a left-handed golfer like me, and therefore the opportunity to have access to all of the different options was the reason why I picked them, because then the fitter could dial me into the exact right lofts, bounces, and grinds for me. Now, if I was to get new wedges in the future, I definitely would consider other manufacturers because lots of manufacturers have moved on the amount of options they offer left-handed golfers today, but it would have to be something special in my opinion to beat these Vokey wedges because I do really enjoy them. I really am enjoying working on my short game at the moment. I do think that and my long game, which we'll talk about a little bit later, are the keys to me getting down to single figures once and for all. And if I can continue to hit shots like that from short-sided positions with slopes to go over, hopefully I might get there in the not too distant future. Come on, be the number. Oh, that's good. So next up is my irons. I'm currently gaming the Mizuno JPX 923 forged. I've got them from a 6-iron up to a gap wedge. Had these irons for a couple of years now, absolutely loved them when I went in for my fitting. They just feel absolutely fantastic off of the face, and it's one of the reasons that's enabled me to consider a slightly firmer golf ball that gives me a little bit more spin and a little bit more distance, is because I prefer the feel of that soft face, and it allows me to play a slightly firmer ball and not be too offended by it. In terms of the shaft here, we've got a Nippon NS Pro 950GH in a regular. It's a 94.5 gram shaft. It's quite a light shaft, I think, for irons. I personally prefer that. It's something I've always gotten really well with in the irons. Interestingly, as you'll see when we move up to the longer clubs in a second, I'm regular flexing these, but stiffer in other clubs. It's just something that's always been the case for me. I've tested a few stiff iron shafts. Don't mind them if they're a light iron shaft, but do personally prefer the regular ones. It just seems to be working really nicely for me. I do really enjoy a couple of the newer irons that are available on the market today, things like the Titleist T200 and the Ping i530 that I've tested on the channel recently. I did really enjoy both of those irons, but I can't see me changing from these anytime soon. They really have helped me to deliver a slightly higher ball flight and a little bit more spin, which are two things that I really needed versus my old iron set. My only criticism of these irons is the face does always look dirty. It's something I've noticed not long after owning them, is the face really does show up all the dirt, and it really is hard to clean them, but that's just an observation I've got and maybe my only criticism of these irons. Oh, it's lovely. Just be the number, drawing around there absolutely beautifully. And it has just got onto the front edge. So that's my hybrid, which is also a new club in the bag for 2024. I did have a Cobra King F9 hybrid. It was my trusted club. I loved it for a while, but I was finding it was actually starting to gap too close to my 6-iron and then creating too much of a gap between that and my 7-wood. So I've put this in the bag recently. Absolutely love it. It's a 4 hybrid, 22 degrees, Mitsubishi C6 black hybrid shaft, weight 70 grams. Absolutely love it. It really is the right club for me. And one thing I really like about it is it just has that little bit of draw bias that just helps on holes like this to just help me just shape it round into the hole really nicely. So we're on the par 5 here, and it's actually quite a narrow, tight par 5, and there's a little bit of out of bounds down the right hand side. So I normally try and decide between driver and 5-wood depending on the conditions, and if I hit driver I can sometimes get into the bunker over there on the right hand side. So we've taken 5-wood today. I normally wouldn't hit a 7-wood for the layup shot because it does really narrow down and there is a little bit of trouble on the right hand side in terms of out of bounds, and on the left it's a little bit easy to get your club lost or your ball lost as well. So wouldn't normally do that, but this is the one club I need to tell you a little bit about, and I'm hoping because it's my favourite club in the bag that we're going to hit ourselves a good one. And we have. Absolutely beautiful shot, and that is the reason why this golf club is my favourite club in the bag. A little bit of a high towering baby draw right down in the middle of the hole. So the 7-wood is the second new club in my bag for 2024. It's a Ping G430 Max. You can get fed up of me saying that over the next few minutes because all of the top end of my bag is Ping G430. The reason why I got this is I actually had a gap in my bag between my 5 hybrid as it was at the time and my 5-wood, and I was playing with 12 clubs for a period of time. I actually went to a couple of golf courses and there was a few long par 3s where I just didn't have a club that could reach them. I was finding myself quite in that sort of 185 distance quite a lot. What I wanted to do therefore is make sure I considered hybrid versus 7-wood, and I think I've filmed a video on that on the channel, if so I've put a link up there for you. When I went in for my fitting, I just couldn't believe how easy it was to launch this golf club in the air and how much spin it was getting and how quickly it was stopping. All things that I've never had from 185 yards out, and therefore it's really quickly become the #1 club in my bag. I absolutely love this club and it really is helping me to lower my scores. As you've just seen there, my ability then to play safer off of the tee, lay up and take the trouble out of play, and then still be able to advance it to the same place I normally would if I was hitting my second shot after hitting a driver, is why I absolutely love this club. So in terms of the shaft option, we've got a Fujikura Motor X F36S shaft in it. It is an absolutely delightful golf club. I absolutely love it. I don't see this coming out of my bag anytime soon, and shots like that is the reason why. Just turn a little bit to the right. It's a great strike. And because of the Harry Colt design, it's kicked off the upside down saucepan to the left. So the final new club in my bag for 2024 is yet another Ping G430 Max. This time it is my brand new 5-wood. It's an 18 degrees in the standard loft setting. Now the reason why I bought this golf club is after having my fitting for my 7-wood and having the new hybrid in the bag and the driver, when I was putting myself on TrackMan filming the videos for you guys, I was seeing that time and time again, the swing changes I'd been making, I was now delivering the club from the inside with all of those golf clubs and hitting, if anything, a little bit of a draw, as you've already seen with the hybrid. What I was finding with my 5-wood, which was an older version of the ping club with a ping stock shaft in it, it was the only club that I was still delivering a little bit out to in and coming a little bit over the top with. And I just couldn't believe that that was something that I was doing with that club, considering all the clubs either side of it weren't doing the same. So I went in and had a fitting. I said to the guys, look, absolutely love the 7-wood you've built for me. It's the best club in my golf bag. It's revolutionized that part of my bag. Can you build me the same club in a 5-wood? And if you don't think that's the right answer, you recommend what to do from there. So they built me the exact same club, like I say, the exact same shaft, the Fujikura Motor X F3 6S. First shot out the gate, absolutely flushed it down the middle. Confidence grew from shot to shot. And we did test a few other options at the time, but there was just nothing that could absolutely beat this golf club. And yeah, okay, I've hit a dead straight bullet there, a little bit left, and it's kicked off to the side. But that's the exact reason why this is in my golf club. My ability to hold a green because of the launch, the peak height, and the land angle I get off of a 5-wood now is absolutely great. I do hit a lot of shots from 185 to 205 into long par 4s, second shots into par 5s to try and lay up as close as possible. And it's this part of my bag, these 3 new clubs that I've put the focus on, that I truly believe, along with that short game we spoke about earlier, that will get me down to that single figures, because these really are helping me. I've hit a few shots over the last 6 months that I just wasn't capable of hitting before, and it's a mixture of my swing changes and these clubs giving me the ability to hold a green with a good golf ball, as we'll come on to in a second, and a club that just launches and delivers some really good spin rates for me. That's a lovely drive. Just taken the corner on, just got it through the heather, and it's bounding down there nicely, probably as good as I can hit it in terms of a line on this hole. So the driver is a Ping G430 Max. I've had this now for about 18 months. Absolutely love it. You're starting to get a theme here that I love ping at the top end of the bag. I heard that catchphrase, if you can't swing it, ping it, and that is so true of me. In terms of the shaft, I've got a VA Composites Drago 55.4, which is a stiff shaft, but it's also quite a lightweight stiff shaft. A bit funky with this little bit of purple on the shaft at the top. For most people, they don't like the Ping G430 or some of the Ping range because of the turbulators. Really interesting for me is where I've had this driver for some time now, I don't even notice it, and I have to remind myself it's there when people ask me the question. But yeah, absolutely love this driver. Found it really, really forgiving. The only question mark for me, I've got it set up in 10.5 degree, then dialed up to the little plus to 11.5 at the moment. And the reason for that is when I got it, I was probably having an angle of attack about 0.5 degrees up on the golf ball. I've improved my technique lately. I'm now hitting anywhere between 1.5 and 2.5 up on it quite consistently. And I am worried now that sometimes I can actually hit it a little bit too high, not on this occasion, but I can hit it a little bit too high sometimes, and that maybe is sacrificing a little bit of distance with a bit too much spin. So I'm keen to get back in the studio and have another test playing around with the loft sleeve on this driver, just to see if maybe dialing it down to 10.5 is the right decision for me. Right, onto that golf ball. So last but by no means least is my choice of golf ball. If you've watched my recent review of the 2 Wilson staff model golf balls, there was a real possibility that one of those golf balls was going to end up in my bag for 2024, and I'm pleased to say that is the case. Currently I've decided on the regular staff model. It's very similar to Pro V1 in terms of all of its performance, and actually delivered me a little bit of enhanced performance in the wedge part of the game, particularly with that ball flight, which I slightly prefer. What I will say is the reason I've done this is I have become a little bit of a golf ball snob over the last 12 months. Using the Pro V1 for benchmarking purposes in a lot of my video really has shown me how much I like the feel of that golf ball and how much the performance of it is really optimal for my golf game. So I did want a golf ball that delivered that sort of performance, but with my handicap I also didn't want to pay £47.99 a dozen and potentially lose them quite regularly as well. So the fact you can pick up this Wilson on 3 for 2 and get them at £30 a dozen, I'm all in on that, and I'm really willing to give them a go for that 3 dozen and see how they perform and see if they do stay in my golf bag. For those of you that are interested in terms of my ball markings, I do putt with a line on my golf ball. I put my LO initials on either side of it, and I am half Irish, so I've got a little lucky shamrock on there to try and give me a little bit of luck out on the golf course. And let's see if it's going to play out, because we're on the 9th hole here. It's getting very, very dark. I'm hoping the camera will still capture this. And we've got a little bit of a birdie putt. It's a little sneaky one down the slope. I'm 6 over to this point for these 9 holes, so it'd be lovely to get one back. I really feel like even with these greens slowing down a little bit dewy, we've had a bit of rain here today, that they are still going to be quick down this slope. So let's see what we've got. Just a little bit low, but we'll take a nice par to finish. Right guys, I hope you really enjoyed my what's in the bag video for 2024. Hope you've enjoyed also being out on the golf course today. I'd love to hear your comments on the on-course content because there's plenty of 18-hole course vlogs landing soon on the channel. Loads of you have asked for that. Also really keen to hear what you think to my choices of golf clubs, in particular those changes I've made at the top end of my bag, and also that conversation we had earlier about the focus on the bottom end of the bag and the fact that this golf club is the one that maybe is still up for grabs and may change over the next few months depending on how it behaves itself. It behaved itself okay tonight, so it's got itself a bit of a reprieve. If you like the video, please do give it a thumbs up. It really does help other golfers like you to find my content on YouTube. And if you're not yet following Weekend Tour Pros, hit that subscribe button down below. And if you ring the bell icon, you'll also get a notification every time one of my videos lands on YouTube. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great day. Goodbye.